Good morning and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Friday, the 3rd of March. I am Flat Cap Callum. I'm back. I'm hoping you are all very, very well. All right, it is Friday. Normally a very good day for the channel, but yeah, a bit quiet. I think, a bit quiet. I don't like the look of the jumps today, so I've left that. I've had a little dabble on the all weather, but I've literally got a half stake day, £10, two bets, one win bet, and one lucky 15 bet. That is all I've managed to muster on this quiet Friday. So yeah, I'm going canny, as my dad would say, all the way to Cheltenham. So yeah, I don't want to be losing stake left, right, and centre as we prepare for the big week, because we are all like a week and a half away. Is all it is. So yeah, 10 days, maybe 10 days. So yeah, very exciting. So yeah, £10 is all we got. So what we've got to do, because I've been off since Saturday. We'll have a quick rundown of how the last day, which was Sunday, went. That won't take very long. We've got to do a review of the comments, and anyone who's been loyally following in the comments had a nice day yesterday. So we'll go through that. A few other bits of stats. News up. Well, yeah, I've got a news update as well. I've got a few bits of news to update you on as well. Sad news and good news. Good news and bad news, which we'll do both of those as well. And then there's probably a whole bunch of other stuff I was going to mention. Cheltenham. I was going to mention Cheltenham. Got one last video for Cheltenham for the handicaps. That hopefully aiming that to be a Tuesday evening release next week. But there's one other bet I'm going to put out from an ante-post perspective that at the moment is teetering on my best ante-post bet for Cheltenham right now. It is an ante-post only bet. You won't be able to put this on Cheltenham week. Certainly not in the same stretch. So yeah, I'll have that mention as well, because it's in a race that we've already gone through on the channel. But yeah, the more I look at the market and the more I see what's going on, I think that's a really solid bet at the moment. So that will come. All right. What were we doing? News. I'll do the news update before I do the review. So news update. Good news. My laptop is apparently fixed and is being couriered back to me. It probably doesn't make massive difference to anyone else, me using whatever the old laptop I've got. But yeah, it's just not as user friendly. I can't get the stats in the same way, and it's just annoying. So that's good news, but it won't massively impact anyone else, I shouldn't imagine. Bad news before I do the review of Sunday. Those loyal followers will know that we started the channel with a Sky Bet account. We got till October last year. It got restricted. I sort of trundled on with a few restrictions for acquiring the use of a separate Sky Bet account to use the channel stats. That's been restricted. So I honestly think I was trying to think. I don't think I've ever had an account get restricted before I've made any profit on it. So yeah, as it literally only been using it to put in channel bets, and because the video ones that all I've been using it for, because the video bets have been running at a loss this year, the account's not made any money, but it's already been restricted. And so for anyone who's under any illusions about how hard this can be, sometimes you can find the right horses, but trying to put the bet on. Fortunately, that doesn't impact my day to day, but it does impact the channel. So I need to sort of see what I can do about that, because I may have to switch betting account types to record statistics on, because I don't want to just record it on Sky Bet if I'm not actually placing it on Sky Bet. So yeah, I'll have to have a think about that. Just let me put on today's bet through the second account. But I couldn't have put virtually much more pence on, and I haven't even got anything big price particularly. So, yeah, it's a real challenge, and I think the thing to some people who be watching this, so they're used to having accounts restricted, and other people are like, is this really a thing that happens? And yes, it does happen. That account got restricted, and I'm very careful with what I say on this subject sometimes. But it wasn't my account, and. Somebody allowed me to put the bet on through them for their account, if you catch my drift. the only common denominator of the two accounts was the IP address. So, yeah, VPN. I need to get a better VPN, clearly. So, yeah, IP address is the only thing that was in common. So that was a losing account that has been restricted and shut down. And that's the only thing they had in common, because everything else was different. So, anyway, what happened on Sunday? Not a lot happened on Sunday, as I recall. I think we lost the lot. So we only did £5 and we lost it. So yeah, we got all these got beat. I think the last one was second, and that was as best as it got. And then these ones, they were a bit disappointing. This horse I put in, said about it was worth having a look at the fifth place market you can get on 365, and the horse was sixth. It was very, very close. It was staying on, and it couldn't quite get there. That would have been all right. Wouldn't be for the channel, but anyone who uses a side bet market. So we were 5 on, 0 back. So I think we ended, or we're currently sat on. Oh, I've just put me. Don't want to do that. Literally just put the bets away. I think we're sat on minus £124 for the year. And I'll get on to comment bets as well. But it's an interesting one because Alan asked a question about, suggested he doesn't think it's fair on me that I don't record the statistics for anything I put out in the comments, and it's a tricky one because last year, at some point midway through last year, the first time I put a bet out in the comments was because I wanted to get it out early, and I think I was making the video late, and there was a short lead time, so I put one out in the comments, and I don't think I made a big song and dance about the fact I was going to do it, and it was the first time we had 3 winners on a lucky 15, and then yes, a lot of people got on it, but also a lot of people didn't because they weren't expecting it. And it was from that point I was like, yeah, if anything I'm putting in the comments, I don't want to record it on the statistics because I don't want people to suggest it's unfair. And clearly some people would say what I do is really fair, and other people would be like, well, you're using a Sky Bet account, so that's unfair. The point is, how many other people are out there who actually show you their profit and loss full stop, let alone do it in a completely transparent way like I do it? There are not many other channels. So I know from that respect, it's a tricky one to get right because I just want I just like to be upfront and honest about it. I'm not chasing a figure on the statistics. I think that's the key thing. So as much as I don't want the thing at the moment with the channel Saturn loss is really annoying. For this year specifically, I'm not trying to achieve a certain target. I'm not trying to tell you how wonderful everything is, and I'm not worried about like picking up loads of people on the bandwagon because I'm trying to massage the figures in a certain way. So although the figures for this year look like we're running at a loss, I know if everybody followed everything in the comments, you'd actually be up. Yeah, I know that is the case, but equally, so I don't know, it's a funny one. Feel free to express your opinion in the comments, what you think. But yeah, I'm just thoughtful. Not everybody reads the comments, even though I say they're in the comments. And if it comes down to the end of the year and the difference between coming out ahead and coming out behind was a couple of £100 from January and March in the comments, then I'd be pretty gutted, to be fair, if that was the difference. So just got to bide our time and hopefully get something good on a regular video day. But yeah, comments done well. So for the benefit of anyone else, because you know what I'm talking about, unless you've read the comments, I put nothing up Monday or Tuesday. Wednesday I put 4 horses, and we had Susie's Connoisseur 1. I think I put it up at 12. It won at 10s. 2 dots, and then Torbolino ran a nice race to be second. I think I put that up at 16s. I think it was a bit shorter. So if you'd done them as a lucky 15, you'd have come out slightly ahead. If you'd done them all as singles, you'd have come out reasonably well ahead. That was Wednesday, and then Thursday, I just put up 2, and I knew they were gems. The fact that even though they're gems doesn't necessarily mean that they come and do what you hope they do. But we had 2 yesterday that I put up on Wednesday night in the comments. The names have completely escaped me now, but they're in the comments. So yeah, one was 125 to 1, and one was 66 to 1. Although you could get it, that was broadly 66. 100 you could get on Sky, and the 125 to 1 was available in Paddy, Coral, and Sky. There was a 30p rule for deduction for a non-runner, but then after that, in the morning, you still could have got 100. So I know from the comments the best that some people achieved was 100 to 1 on both of them. So in the comments as well, the other thing is that I'm very mindful. I don't advise stake because I'm not recording it. I don't advise stake. So, if I put two horses in there, I'm sort of presuming people will back them singles and a double. If I put four, I'm assuming people will back them as lucky 15, but I'm not recording it for the stats. So, the thing with it was it was one of the ones that I knew I had two really good ones. And I went through Ludlow on Thursday, and I'm sorry, for the benefit of everybody, those horses both came third, so it was an each way place. But 50p each way at 200 to 1 shots is over 200 quid return. So two horses placed can get you, for a £1 bet, can get you over 200 quid. So those don't come around very often, clearly. So finding one is tricky. Finding two on the same day is slightly outrageous. I did particularly appreciate Ian's comment, which suggested that it was like witchcraft from the Middle Ages. But yeah, it was a good one. The thing with it was I found those on Wednesday night. I went through Ludlow, found nothing. Went through Taunton. First two races, I was like, those are cracking. I was like, well, maybe I'll actually do a video. And then I found nothing else. I found bits and bobs. I found nothing else that I was happy putting with them. So personally, I tried a few other things with them outside of the channel, none of which came off. So yeah, outside the channel, I was perfectly fine. The way I staked my bets, I had a nice day just off the two of them. But yeah, I tried a few other things, and so yeah. Yeah, I feel like it was the right call, but it wasn't worth doing the video for two of them, even though I knew they were really good from a value perspective, and even though they both the SP at 25 to 1 and 28 to 1, I still would have put them up as channel selections at those prices. That just gives you those don't come around very often. When I'm finding something at 100 to 1, and I'm telling you I'd still back it at 25s and 28s quite easily. Yeah, it was a nice one, but yeah, I wouldn't have put them on a video. So for the benefit as well of the crowd, those two horses, I would have put them for the channel with O'Fanlon's Lass in the 350 Clonmel, I think it was, which was the big field handicap, which was 80 to 1. Yeah, that was those two horses went in, and you'd have been sat on a bet for O'Fanlon's Lass. And if you looked approaching turning the bend and approaching the second fence, and you were on O'Fanlon's Lass at 80 to 1 with those two, I think you'd have absolutely been beside yourself. And then for whatever reason, just didn't jump the last two jumps very well at all, and sort of just faded and ended up being a fairly close eighth. When turning in, looked like there was five going to break clear, and you would have needed top five, and it would have been a couple of hundreds with an 80 to 1 shot, which would have been absolutely outrageous to have put those together. It wasn't, so no one missed out on anything. All right, that was a lot of ramble. I'm sorry, that was a lot of ramble. Right, what was I going through? Today's bets, 13 minutes in. This is what I got to. Win bet. Honestly, if I put these on last night, people would have been like, "Oh, your horses are being backed in. People are onto you." I put them up this morning. Some of these were massively backed in overnight. So unless the bookmakers have got some spyware on my notepad, then it's just sometimes it's just about finding the right horses and knowing that they're wrong. So 440 Lingfield, Mucker Magic 9 to 1, 14s last night. So I'm just. Some people would rather I just didn't even say these things because they find it annoying. But it was 14s last night, which was an absurd price. Then we got 455 Dundalk Maritime Rules. I really like the jockey booking on that. That absolutely has caught my eye. Keep an eye on Dean Curran. And then 515 Newcastle typewritten. That was 15 to 2 last night. Now 9 to 2. So massively reduced in price and value, but still happy to put it out. So I've done it because I've only got small bet. It's a 50p win patent. So rather than the usual 50p win Trixie, I've got slightly lower risk in there because I had stake basically to make up to the £10. So it's a 50p win patent. So that's win singles, doubles, trebles. So if we get one of them up, even if it's a short price, you get most of your money back for the bet. So that is bet one, £3.50. You want a bog bookie. And then bet two, which is the lucky 15, is this. So it's all weather and it's all later on. 5:45 Newcastle regular on the channel. Mr. Coco being at 12s. Then 7:15 Newcastle at Hull Blair Boy regular on the channels at 40-1. So that's very consistent. That one runs more good races than bad. I'm not so keen on the jockey booking on that one, but I didn't want to not have it in for that because the value of the value is really decent. It should be more like 14-16-1, I think, really. And then Dundalk 7:30, news at 10. These prices were changing as I was placing the bet. Again, that was a 18-1. That was at 8 o'clock this morning, and it literally obliterated 17-2. And then the 8 o'clock Dundalk Goby start 17-2. So it's a 20p each way lucky 15 and a 25p each way double on the Newcastle pair. Sky are best because they're paying 4 places on that race. And then you've got 365 Coral Lablux that are 4 on there and 4 on there are the same. That's standard terms. So it's $6.50 a bet. That is it. That's the extent of those. So I think I've gone through some stats. I've gone through Sunday. I've talked about my woes. I've talked about the comments. I've done the bets. Cheltenham. So if you stayed to the end and you've stuck with this video, Cheltenham, what was I going to tell you about Cheltenham? What do I think is my borderline best anti-post bet that I've yet to mention at Cheltenham? Champion Hurdle. I'm really enjoying the Champion Hurdle market at the moment. Have a look at it. I've obviously put up in the Champion Hurdle market epatante, and there definitely looks like it's a lean towards the Mare's Hurdle at the moment. Even though the horse is not entered, it does need to be supplemented, which it would happen early next week if it's supplemented. But Henderson's sort of giving you the vibe that he thinks it might be going there. It will come down to JP McManus. And as I said before, I think McManus would prefer the Champion Hurdle, but we'll see. So, Champion Hurdle, why am I getting interested in it? Because you've got such a shorty favourite in Constitution Hill. If you actually look at all of the field size, it looks like it's going to be a low field size than Champion Hurdle. Outside of Constitution Hill, forget it. I've forgotten what is it. Stage Star, Stage Man, the Willie Mullins one, that's second favourite. I've having a mind blank. Right, that one, and you've got Vauban, and you've got epatante number 4. Those 4 are the only 4, bar one more I'm going to mention, that are entered in one race at the Cheltenham Festival. Everything else in there has got multiple entries. So even if you look at things further down the market and you go, oh, look at, like, I Like to Move It or Sharjah, they've all got multiple entries. And so you could end up with a super, super skinny small field because people are looking at it thinking Constitution Hill's going to win, Stage Man's going to come... Is it Stage Man or Stage... The Stage Horse is going to come second. And then it's a question of, can anything get third? Now, if you get to Cheltenham Week and there are less than 8 runners, there is no way, no bookie's going to pay you 3 places. It's not one of those ones where you might get 3 places. Because Constitution Hill will be such a short price favourite, if there's less than 8 runners, you're not getting 3rd place. Right now, most major bookies are offering the market without Constitution Hill. And if you look through that market, the 5th horse that has got no other entries is Not So Sleepy. That horse has come 5th the last 2 years in the Champion Hurdle when there's been a reasonable size field. It likes Cheltenham. It's not the best horse. It's not going to win unless something goes majorly wrong. But it's very consistent. And it likes, as I said, it likes Cheltenham. It likes 2 miles. And it will just keep going. And yes, it's an ageing horse, but I don't think the form has massively lost off that horse. So right now, you could get 50-1 with most bookmakers, not all of them, in the non-Constitution Hill market, which in essence is giving you a 4th place in the current Champion Hurdle market, which is an excellent betting market. So hopefully that makes sense. In the normal market, mostly Not So Sleepy is 100-1 in the normal paying the first 3. In the non-Constitution Hill market, 50-1 is Not So Sleepy. So that is top 3 outside Constitution Hill. You could get to the race day and find there's 5 or 6 horses, but you've placed that bet already, ante-post, and therefore you're not going to get impacted by anything. Anything else is bigger market, so there's no rule fours. So you could turn up on the day with a 50-1 shot top four when there might be 6-7 runners. That bet's going to look quite good because no one's looking at Not So Sleepy to win the race. But actually, for a horse that's run consistently in that race and isn't necessarily out of form, I think it's a really good bet. 50-1, the non-Constitution Hill market. So so paying first three in the non-Constitution Hill market. Hopefully I've made that clear enough. But yeah, you shop around and it's generally 40s or 50s in places, but there was plenty of bookies that you can find 50-1 on that bet. And that, as I said, is currently on possibly my best bet for Cheltenham right now, ante-post. Not So Sleepy, top three, the non-Constitution Hill market. Okay, that's me. I'm going to stop that because I knew it was going to be long because I haven't been on videos for ages. But yeah, all right. Well, we are now on it for March. We might have done well in the comments for the first beginning of March. The stats say we're 0 for March, and I think the stats say we're down 124 for the year. So we are on the march towards. We're on the march in March. The aim to get to Cheltenham without any sort of like hole there lying there, that we've got some money built up. Anyone who did yesterday's comments is should be fine for Cheltenham now. But yeah, then we'll see how we go at Cheltenham. All right, that is me. I'll be back tomorrow morning on regular video and also freebets.com. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.